Well, hello there, guys. My name is Tara Michelle, and I missed you all very much. I haven't uploaded in like a week or two, and that was because I was taking a bit of a break from YouTube and Twitch since it's the holidays right now. I just wanted to rest so that I'm able to come back stronger. I'm happy to be back and to be making videos again, and if you haven't already checked out my second channel, we just had a video by the time you guys are watching this on Nigerian cyber scammers. So if you're interested in that, I highly suggest you give it a watch. And without further ado, let's get on with the content of today's video. So today's video is going to be on streaming slash having like set classes. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you probably don't live in the UK. I'm not even sure how many of my viewers live in the UK anymore. I think it's like 60%. It's increased major times since the whole you're not funny, you're racist video. I mean, wow. But anyways, streaming, I'm referencing putting students into different classes based on their potential academic ability, not like the stuff I do on Twitch every Saturday and Tuesday at 7 p.m. GMT. Now, I'm going to be talking about whether having set classes or streaming is a good thing or a bad thing, but I think it's very important to allow more nuance in a subject like this because I don't really think that they're 100% good or 100% bad. I just I'm kind of in the middle when it comes to this, but I want to know you guys' opinion. We have set classes and they range from set 1, which is like the students with the highest amount of academic potential ability, and then it ranges all the way down to set 4, which is like the students with the lowest academic potential ability. Hi guys, Editing Tara here, quickly interjecting to talk about the history of streaming and having set classes in the UK. An important fact is that schools in the UK only started streaming around the 1930s, and this was because of having these more sophisticated grammar schools. They needed to make sure that like the students were actually intelligent enough to get into these schools, and therefore they started streaming from there. And there are also some questionable origins of why streaming began. So I was reading up this article on like the history of streaming in the UK, and let me just read you this paragraph. And third, the reporters of eugenics, a term coined by the explorer Francis Galton in the 1880s for the study of the use of selective breeding to improve the innate quality of the human race. Okay, eugenics is just xenophobic, racist, classist pseudoscience. I think I referenced it at the end of the video, I'm not sure. Anyways, warned of the dire consequences of the spread of a physically degenerate population in the cities, especially immigrants and the working class. You see what I'm talking about? These three developments provided the excuse for segregating children on the basis of intelligence. So let's go through the pros and cons of streaming. Starting this video off on a negative note, let's talk about the cons of streaming. So first of all, it creates an environment where bullying can flourish. Now, we don't have this in my secondary school because like I don't think anyone really bullies anyone about sets in my secondary school. It's rather just like having a bit of banter or just teasing a bit. But I think in some secondary schools there could be let's just say an environment that fosters bullying more than just it being joking around or having banter. And then not to mention having sets can, I think, mess with you psychologically because some people see what set they're in as a direct reflection of their self-worth, which I don't believe you should do because number one, if you're placed in a super low set group, then it could mess with your self-confidence. And if you're placed in a super high set group, it could also mess with your confidence, but in that sense making you more overconfident, and obviously it's not very good to be overconfident. And then when you apply a fixed mindset to these different scenarios, it becomes even worse, and it just becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy with the lower set groups. When you're placed in a lower one, you may feel like, oh, I'm in bottom set already, what's it gonna do if I study? I'm gonna fail anyway. And then you fail because you didn't study. And then in a similar scenario with top set students, I think this could manifest as maybe a student being like, oh, I'm in top set, I don't need to study, I'm gonna pass anyway, and then they fail because they didn't study. Again, sort of linking this back to the confidence thing, I think that it creates an environment where self-hate can flourish. And then in my school, sets are loosely streamed, and this can also be a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. However, a con of this is that if a student who feels as if they should be in a lower set group, maybe they're having troubles in class, they could get left behind and they could feel unintelligent compared to their peers if they're placed in a higher set group than what they feel is their ability. If you have like a super smart student placed in bottom set, they could feel as if they're being limited, or they could also get a bit overconfident because they're around people that have a lower academic ability than them. And explaining what I mean by putting the quotation marks there, I just quickly wanted to talk about the whole academic potential thing. So sets were always supposed to be about, okay, what is this student's potential to do in the future? The thing is, you can't really measure or quantify potential because it hasn't happened yet. It hasn't happened yet, so I don't understand how someone can measure potential. The thing is, right, what they're measuring is actually probability, not potential. They get your past test scores and then they line them up and get the average, and they're like, okay, the student's probably going to do this well in their GCSEs, the student's probably going to do this bad in their GCSEs, and then they just categorize you in they just categorize you in set groups according to that. And like, who's to say that a student that may have failed a past test can't do super well in their GCSEs? I don't know. You're gonna have to ask the person that came up with the idea for having sets. Now let's quickly go through the pros of streaming. So the first pro that I have put down for like streaming and having set classes is that you are put with people at the same / a similar level to you. Now this can be beneficial because teamwork actually is dream work when it comes to these situations. You're put with people at a similar ability to you, and therefore teamwork could be more efficient since you guys are all at the same level and you guys probably understand the work at a similar level as well. And then if you're in a higher set classes, it can often mean less disruptions to the class. And then if you're in a lower set class, it could possibly mean more disruptions to the set class, which should be put on the cons of streaming. Because often students that are compiled together in the lower set classes, not saying obviously all of them are, like that's not what I'm trying to say, but a lot of the time some students might not take learning seriously and therefore can contribute to disruption in the class, and therefore sort of like hinders back the entire class. And this happens in mixed classes where like there's a bunch of students that want to learn, there's a bunch of students that don't want to learn, and then when you mix them together it's just absolute chaos. And then also I should have put this in the cons, but again, with the whole self-worth thing, I think it can really mess with someone mentally. Like, because examples of like, if they were loosely streamed, let's just say a student is getting like the top grades and then they were placed in bottom set, like do you know how that would feel? Yeah, that probably wouldn't feel so good. And let's just say a student is giving their all and, you know, like really trying in class, and then they're still put into bottom set. It can feel quite disheartening. Like, even the concept of sets can feel quite disheartening to a lot of people that don't enjoy academic competition, or just don't enjoy academia in general. And then it's just like issues with the school system in general. If you guys like want to see more on my issues with the school system, I have a video on my second channel about why the school system sucks while I play Hypixel minigames. And then another pro of streaming is that the teacher is actually able to meet you at your level. So let's just say you're in a super high set class, but they're going way too fast and you don't really understand what they're saying. If you're placed in a slightly lower set to that, the teacher can explain it in a way that you can actually understand, because oftentimes, like when it comes to being in the higher set classes, like the teacher's just going really fast and you're just trying to understand the material, but you can't really, because of how fast paced it can be. And then also, let's just say you're a student that really wants to focus on some of the higher level stuff, but you're placed in a lower set group. Then that could mean that you could get bored in class, or you could feel like you're hindering yourself because you're not like in the top sets. So when you apply streaming slash having these sets in the classes, higher achieving students won't get bored and can learn further than their set curriculum. And then students in a lower set group are able to focus on the fundamentals of the class material. And then this is sort of a con but sort of a pro at the same time. Like, if you're placed in a higher set group, that could also boost your confidence. However, that can also, you know, it's a double-edged sword, because then even if it boosts your confidence, you could get overconfident, and even if you're placed in a lower set group, it could mess with your confidence, you know what I'm saying? And then it just becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, as we previously explained. And then, you know, this is just a funny correlation that I've noticed in year 8, well, year 9 now. Gosh, I'm just going to say year 8 because I still feel like we're in year 8. There's just a funny correlation that I've noticed within year 8. I've said this in our Is Our School Racist video, but I'm going to say it again just cause. And so basically, if you haven't heard this already, in our school, please don't dox me, in our school in year 8 it is predominantly black, I must say, and then some white people, and then like barely any Asian people. And I just think that the distribution of white people in these set classes is interesting, because you see, like, the proportion is not as large as the amount of black students that we have in year 8, but the distribution of the proportion of white people seems just, you know, because the vast majority of the white students in year 8 lay within these top set groups. So it just makes me wonder if this is pure coincidence or a matter of the subconscious racist bias that I described in the Is Our World Racist video. If you Is Our World Racist? No, the video was called How the World Made Us Racist, or the world, I don't remember the name of my own video, wow. But anyways, I'll leave a card here, a link in the description, so that you can check the video out if you haven't already. You know, because the thing is here, like, race and intelligence is actually a pretty darn interesting subject. If you're interested, you can read into eugenics, and so I did reference eugenics in the video. As I was saying about the subconscious racist bias thing, I think that this could link back to eugenics. I don't know, maybe I should do a video on eugenics. It's a really interesting subject, and it could actually link back to eugenics, because that was one of the reasons to justify the inhumane treatment of anyone who wasn't white, rich, or what was the other one? I don't remember. Or an immigrant. Yeah, or an immigrant. And wow, that actually leads us to the end of the video. This has been quite a quick upload. Wow, I can't speak English and I'm in set 1 English. This has been quite a quick upload, and I will be back with a lot more in-depth uploads, but the thing is, it's just gonna be quite difficult, because I'm trying to balance like having 2 different YouTube channels, and then also streaming on Twitch, then also focusing on other projects outside of social media. So it can be quite difficult, but I promise to be consistently uploading. I'm planning on uploading 2 times a week on this channel, and then 2 times a week on and then 2 times a week on TP on 2FPS, and then also streaming 2 times in a week on Twitch. And if you guys have any content suggestions, I am down to receiving any of these suggestions, or if there are any topics you would like me to talk about, any games you would like me to play, I would be more than happy to look into them for you. And wow, that does lead us to the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, this has been Tara, and now we are signing out. Peace.